They had good minds next game.
Okay, Rabbi Sai, we're holding in Chulin Daf and Gimel when the top of Mud Aleph.
Who's
Just
that guy?
What?
Who's that guy sitting from?
Oh, we'll talk about this one. We're recording her. So the Gemara Megillah Daf. We finished yesterday's Daf. Yesterday's Daf, the Gemara spoke about the 18 treifis and the cheshbon of the 18 treifis. Really, it's more like 29 treifis. It depends on your cheshbon. And the Gemara goes on and says, Omerulu. Really, it's all including the following rule. Chet minei treifis ne'emru leMoshe v'Sinai. There's 8 types of treifel that were set to Moshe and Sinai. Nekuva, psuko.
Where are you, Mishnah?
I'm not from Gimel Udav.
Third line, second line.
Let me start the first line. Nekuva psuko, netulo v'chasuro, kruo v'druso, nefulo shua. 8 types of treifis, which includes everything. So he says, we said till 18. I'm saying it's 8. Why? Because it says, Nekuva, in other words, there's a hole, it includes all the holes. Psuka, that's cut off. Netula, psuka is that's cut off from its place. Netula, that's removed. Chasur, that's missing. Kruo, that's torn out. And then, it's torn. Druso, that was dressed by an animal. Nefulo is that it fell. Rashi is nefum and agag. V'shvur, that they broke the ribs, which you saw in the Mishnah. So what are you missing here that we don't have? Like, what is this list different than the previous list? La fuki la kuso de Rakesh Apopo. Rakesh Apopo said Leil, that was one of the 7 things we said before. One of them was, if the kulya, if the kidney is hurt, it's treifel. It's not included over here in Ula. Ula gave us 8 rules, that's not one of them. There's 8 cases of nekuva of a hole that we mentioned in the end of yesterday's daf. So when we talk about tests, what about the 10th test one, the 9th one? That's not the regular sheet. The sheet of Yeshiva. If there's a hole in the cave, nikva daki treifel. So he added nikva maro, the gallbladder. Not everybody agrees with that, and that's why he said 8 and not 9. Says that a hole in the gallbladder is a problem. What are the people that argued with Yeshiva told Yeshiva when he said that a hole in the gallbladder is treifel? He says, look at what it says by Yechezkel. It says Yishprech la'oretz mirosi. It says by the Yechezkel said he putting out my gallbladder. So I died in a year of Kayim. Now he was still alive. So you see, without a gallbladder, it can still be alive. Even maybe we could say it's not literally, but the fact you bring that as an example, that tells you that it's it can happen. Make a hole in my kidneys. Now, will you leave that way? It's a nace. It says that Hakadosh told the Sota came and had questions about he was questioning if he was really that tzaddik. So Hakadosh told him, no problem, go and test him out, but just make sure to keep his soul, don't take away his soul. And then one of the Pastor says it was much harder for Eoiv, for the Sota to do that, because it's much easier to kill somebody than to make all the tzores to keep him alive. So you see from here that it was an ace that kept him alive. Another thing, is halacha is the command of Omar that says kazais. The gabi what? When you're taking away the kovid, the kidney, so Rashi brings the machlekes a little later, a few days from now. Then one hand it says that the Mishnah says if the kovid was gone, nothing was left. If something is left, it's still okay. And the other hand it says you took out the kidney and there's stayed at kazais. So do you need kazais or something? It's a steer. The Gemara says it's machlekes tanoim. So what's the halacha? Halacha you need kazais. Said you take out the cover, nothing was left. So if you go to the Mishnah, Stam Mishnah didn't say that. Now, Rashi points out that they're both Stam Mishnahs. This is a Stam Mishnah, the latest Stam Mishnah. But he says this, if you hold that Alolik is Stam Mishnah, you have to take that into account. You can't come and just ignore it. So here, we have to come with this Musara. You can't just say Alocha this way. Say Alocha this way, you're going against the Klav Stam Mishnah. Says the Gemara, it's really Mechlekes Amoraim according to Rabbi Yochanan. One Amoraim holds according to Rabbi Yochanan, Alolik is Stam Mishnah, you always have to take his Stam Mishnah into account. The other one says no. The COVID, the Omar is not the Omar, it's really the Omar. It's another concept here. If you look just a second on Amroi Ninu towards the end of the narrow line, Rashi says, if he holds this way, he's going to say look like this way. He can trace stomachs out and you have two stomachs that are contradiction. If you have a reason why one is greater than the other, so like it brings the case of the Gemara in Sanhedrin, so then you say halacha like one. If not, you don't pass like one. So we have your machlekes. If you have the gallbladder with a hole, the COVID sotamton, you have the liver blocking that hole, sheyu, it's okay. If you have article next to you, let me know how they translate kurkavon. But it's a piece of it's a supposedly a word that which has no, that's the gallbladder is the marrow. The kurkavon is a piece of the chicken. What's it called? No, what was it? Gizzard. The gizzard. So that's a part of the right. At the outer it's called the gizzard. So if that had a hole in it, so the din is that the kishla kayam, but the pocket which is surrounding or right beneath the kurkavon is still there, kosher. Apparently, whatever the opposite, nikva kis is a hole in the kis. The kurkavon kayamai. Toshman dumam yechonon nikav zeh beloy zeh. If there's a hole one without the other, the din is that it's kosher. So it's still going to be kosher. Now so we have over here a discussion regarding this, and this is in our article we have that picture. I don't know where the Trefus picture book that we had over here is, but it's talking about the kurkavon is the piece over here. You have the key surrounded. It's okay. Says the Gemara. So as long as it's kayam, the key is okay. If not, as long as one of them is okay, it's still kosher. The veshet, which is the windpipe, which is called in professional English the esophagus. So the esophagus. That's right, not the windpipe, the food pipe. The food pipe. It has two skins. The outer one is red, and the inner one is white. If only one of them got punctuated, kosher. Why are you saying it's red outside and white inside? Because if it turned around, if you have white inside, but if you have white outside and red inside, then you know it's treifel. What happens if both skins have punctuation, but not one in front of each other? So it's not the hole doesn't go directly inside. So Beveshet, still okay if it's not right next to each other. With the kurkavon by the bird, then it is possible when you have a hole going penetrating in both. Even if it's not penetrating. Makes more sense the opposite. She eats with it and she speaks with it. Rashi, before she explained, even though she doesn't actually speak for the food pipe, it's more the air pipe, but it's involved in it. It also moves. So it moves and there's a little bit of a shift in it. Sometimes, even if right now the hole is not right next to each other, because they move, maybe the hole will come to be one next to each other. But the kurkavon stands where it is, There's no hole, doesn't bother me. So he says the opposite. Said like you, this idea, the opposite, meaning the idea that the veshet, if both skins have holes in it, is more a problem than the korka. Meaning, if the veshet has a hole, and then there's some kind of a layer on it that covers it, that doesn't help me. Why? Because the scab. Why not? Because that doesn't help. And Rashi says the rule of all trephis. The holes cannot be healed with something that grows later. We do have the other cases when they're one next to each other, so then you say that they protect because that's what they naturally were to begin with. But a new scab that grows later, that does not help. There's no way to check a veshet from the outside. Why? Because you're looking for a small drop of blood, as we'll see. You can't check it outside because it's red and you can't see the outside. Only inside. We saw that earlier in the Masechta regarding the case. They were trying to figure out how to, someone who already has a hole, what do you do with it? Same with the Minaf Kivino. So enough of Gimel base, Lesophic Juso. Meaning, if you have an animal, you're not sure if it was Didras. Didras means that an animal came and either bit it or more commonly scratched it with his nails. And the idea the Gemara is going to bring here throughout, we're going to say it many times, is that it gives a little bit of a venom, a little bit of what? Venom, poison, something goes into the animal and makes it drusa. So he's saying, what do you see drusa? You see a little bit of blood. So you can't see the outside, you can see it only on the inside. So if I'm not sure, I can't rely on the outside, look at the inside. Says why he's sofik druso, so he came in front of the rabbi. Have a kaboting the rabbi from the veshet rabbi. He's checking the veshet from the outside. The only way you can look at his inside, not outside. So he turned around and looked inside. He found that he had 2 drops of blood. Tells me that here is the drisa, and he made a treif. So what do you see? So because you have to do inside. The rabbi was the Avin. Rabbi is the one who said that you have to eat hot abayit. The only reason he said this way is only to make it to sharpen Abayi's mind. In other words, to challenge him. Says more, so that's why he checked it outside to see if Abayi will say anything. If you have a thorn sitting in the veshet, I'm not choishish that there's a problem there. Hivri could mean one of 2 things Rashi says. Either Hivri means that there was a hole and now there's a scab, so you don't see it, or Hivri means a hole. It could be Hivri, could be a loshon, a virus oisum, bar oisum, a chavoisum means to make a hole. So I'm not choishish for the hole. Says the Gemara, for the ulo, my shtom is something druso. What's the difference when you have a druso to the case of the thorn? Because I'm not choishish for no reason. If I know I have an animal that was here, so I have a problem. But just to look at a thorn, decide it, you don't say that. What do we say that you machmer? When I have 2 pieces of fat and meat, and he ain't one of them, not sure which one, so it's considered to be also chayav, at least specific. Why? You have chazaka, there's an answer over here, but you have no chazaka when you have a thorn. What about when you take a knife and you shepherd it and you find a little bit of a hole in the knife? There, you did find some problem in the knife, so it ruins the knife. So what's the difference between that and something to Mishusayachid that you say it's something Tomeh? You're saying if you have no reason to be Choshesh, why are you Choshesh? So what about the Taimech? Nidaimel is something to Mishusayachid. What about something to Mishusayachid? Do you say it's something Torah? Something Torah. There you can't learn from there, because there you learn from Saita. It's Xeris Akosov, it's Halach Lamoshe Sinai, that's what it is. Says more Yosef Umer Abonu Kamid of Kahana of Yosef Kohomar Nintzes Itma. All the cases if you found a thorn in around the area. Aval Yosha, if the thorn is stuck into the veshet, Cheshin. Only of Kahana looked that's it too late. Don't listen to him. Yosha is the opposite. It says Yosha, which means you found the koitz in the veshet. If it's flowing around, not. And when it says loy, why? Loy tzich lelul. L'kulu chavi b'yaso koitz hachad. All outdoor animals eat thorns. They all eat thorns. So the thorns are, if you have a thorn which is not stuck anywhere, there's no problem. You're always going to find thorns in the animal. So what's the problem? The problem is if it's stuck into the veshet. Says the word now, Itmar turbatz aveshet. Turbatz aveshet. If you have a hole there, b'mashu. Shmuel beruba has to be a roiv light, the word has to be a roiv. Says the Gemara, in other words, according to Rav, we'll see you treat it more like a veshet. Then he holds a problem. According to Shmuel, it has to be roiv. Says the Gemara, what is turbatz aveshet? Is where the veshet is the food pipe, where it connects to the mouth. That area that connects to the mouth, that's the shiloh, what's in over there. It's part of the makom shchita. The same with the veshet, small holes a problem, so here's a problem. It's not makom shchita. Said something I knew towards the where exactly is towards the veshet. Meaning, you cut that area. The veshet is a little thicker. So you cut it, it stays the way it is, the one it stands right now. But the turbatz veshet is a little looser. So if I cut it from where it is, it's like a pipe. We're talking about a pipe of, you can imagine like a skin, like attached together. You cut it up and it inflates. The hole inflates. So choytcha inflates, so turbatz veshet. Choytcha veshet, that's it. It stays where it is. That's veshet itself. He didn't say that. He said a little differently. Because you cut it and it stands where it is, it's veshet. By the veshet itself, when you cut it, it shrinks. So it's a similar concept. The veshet doesn't have the same characteristics of a veshet when you cut it off. So mivla over here. What is towards a veshet? Mokim beis ablil, which is very close to the top. The camel, what is the exact area? So the length is more, it's a little bit less than the size of a barley kernel, more than wheat. Okay. So it started doing shchita in the turbatz veshet, was the top of the veshet, and then it cut in and went into the veshet itself. Make it treifa because of Rav, because of Shmuel. What? Rav said even the smallest hole is a problem. So here I have a smallest hole. According to Rav, it's a shchita. What's the problem? I made a hole doing shchita. So you started the cutting of the veshet, the turbatz veshet. According to Rav, you're doing good. Right? The answer is we're going like Shmuel, the whole, it's not makom shchita. If you're going with Shmuel said you go with right. You go with I mean, in order to make a hole, it has to be right the hole. It was only a small cut. So I'm combining both shittas together. So even though they go the same sort, Rav holds it's a makom shchita. That's why the smallest hole is a problem. And Shmuel holds it's not makom shchita. That's you have to have a right. So you're saying it's not makom shchita, but you're saying it'll be a mash.
So why mash is okay because you're kosher that shchita was right, but shchita just took care of it.
We all the two is not makom shchita. So you made a hole in the place like a shchita, but because straight for once you have a hole, so this place is already a hole. So the way Galgal Milso Matar Kamei Davabu came in front of Avabu. Amalo Toyu bin Rav Mishmul Shari. What do you mean? According to Rav, it's okay because that's shchita. According to Shmuel, it's okay because that's not a right. See, I'm going to break the Yeshiva Bar Chamo, which is Rav. Rav was break the Yeshiva Chamo. The least that made Torah Marie has to pay back. So, in other words, he's playing both teams. If you hold this makom shchita, so it's not a problem. If you hold it's not makom shchita, so you need to have at least a right. Or Marbei Davina Muslim to you to Kalpisani the Rav. I have a question to this hater of Rav. I mean, I don't understand Rav. How is Rav doing jumping in both chasms? What he brings a right. We go a little bit ahead and we'll base the Shimon Shabbos. We'll go back to this, but just to see the framework over here. We have the din loyal with Yechezkel Kedivei B'Sil. Halach is like B'Sil. Haroit Salasus Kedivei B'Shamai Oisek. If you want to pass the B'Shamai, you could. The one is going to discuss that in a moment. This lush Kedivei B'Sil Oisek. Mikula B'Shamai Mikula B'Sil. If he goes the coolest of both, he's a Russia. He's always trying to find a way out. Without him and down with that, Michur B'Shamai Michur B'Sil. If he goes the Chumra both. He's going. He's just machmir for no reason. You have to pick and choose. What you hold that? So you can't go and go the chumra of one and the kul of other one, especially when they're dependent shows. Rashi brings B'Sil B'Shamai argue, and what we had yesterday's daf. When you're missing, how much you have to? You're missing in the schedule. That should be treifah. Is it 2 or 1? Whatever. On the other hand, Charlotte would mix oil and mace. Oil and mace, you have to have a full bone, full schedule. So if I'm missing 2 vertebrates, what's it called? Vertebrae. Missing 2 vertebrates from the schedule. So if you hold that, if you're missing 1, sorry. So if you hold that straightforward, that's not going to be tab oil and mace. If you hold it's not straightforward, it doesn't tab oil and mace. But you can't see that it is straightforward as a tab oil and mace. You can't see both. So anybody who does that is exil. They want to just stop a second to just explain the sentence we just said. Haguf yekash shamat lo yom lachki dibi b'silil. You said halach is like b'silil. For the Tanya writes the last dibi b'shamai. Yes. Then you said you could pass like b'shamai. I don't understand. You just said halach is like b'silil. Like kash. Kan koydin baskol, kan lacher baskol. Before the baskol, you said halach is like b'silil. You could pass like b'shamai. If not. If you buy sima af lacher baskol, you be sure the omay mashkich in baskol. You go to be sure that says you don't listen to a baskol. Okay. Kol kasho. What's the question? That how did Rav go down to both chasanas? Omar Tavois Kula Karav Ovdo. He holds everything like Rav. The Chi Rav Yechezkel Omar Rav Yechezkel came and said, "Lo tatzisu lehulani kol dikal Yehuda achi b'shvei Rav." Usually, as Rashi says, many of the members of Rav came from Yehuda. Yehuda Rav. Rav Yehuda, his father's name was Yechezkel. So his brother, who was Rav by Yechezkel, says, "Don't listen to my brother Yechezkel. And don't listen to my brother Yehuda." Haki Omarav. Veshed Nostum Chachomim Shir. Chachomim gave a shir where the veshed is, meaning not more than that. Chal Turitz Veshes Lav Mokom Shchituhu. V'Kol Rav Mashu. Meaning Rav himself did not say like we said before. Before we quoted Rav, Rav said it's Mashu and it's a Mokom Shchita. So more than no, it's a mistake. Rav holds not Mokom Shchita, and he still holds his place of a Mashu. So you made the Rav pass like Rav, like this Rav. It was like Rav that if you did shchito in Turbet Zaveshit, no good, because not shchito, and even the smallest home makes it already a treifel. So that's why he passed and he went with the way he knew the shita of Rav. So we'll stop over here. Again, Shabbos will go a little bit back to go back into this Indian, and we should have a wonderful rest of the week.